Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bull crap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
That's how long I've been on ya.
It's Nuno and the crew on TexAgs Radio, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
You know how long I've been on ya. Since Prince was on Apollonia. Since OJ had ice.
So far, so great. Welcome into TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. A&M with the #1 recruiting class and climbing, my friends. It feels good with some work still to do, and I think they're going to get all that done. An impressive list of 5-stars, superstars, and potential day one NFL draft kind of guys joining A&M here, the steady climb to hopefully a national championship at some point in the college football playoffs. These are the kind of players that make it happen. Let's jump right into it with the Go Hour. Olin Buchanan. We're about to get Bronny on the air, but got to get your initial thoughts on how yesterday transpired and what the future is going to look like.
Well, the future looks good. I always say that becoming a millionaire doesn't guarantee that you'll marry a supermodel, but it improves your chances and enhances your chances. So having a #1 class doesn't guarantee that you're going to win a national championship, but it definitely enhances your chances. So if you're going to be able to consistently beat Alabama on the field, you've got to be able to recruit with them. And A&M for years has been trying to win with less talent.
Yes.
And now you're getting to the point where you're going to be equal in talent with, or if not equal, close enough to where you feel like you're going to go out there and have a chance to win every year.
All right, let's go straight to the BCSI hotline. We wanted to start off the show with some heavy recruiting. Ryan Broniger joining us here on his way there to the state championships in Dallas. And Bronny, I guess we can look back here in a second, but just what's the latest, what's going on with Denver, with Evan, and the work that the A&M staff still has to do?
Yeah, I woke up, called in to hear Olin talking about millionaires and supermodel wives after he was toting Irma around last night, and I'm wondering how much money we're actually paying him.
Good call.
Well, yeah, she is a trophy wife. She says I'm a participation trophy husband.
No, last night you got the signature in from Smoke Buoy. We fully anticipated that as we went throughout the day yesterday. Some late murmurs that Georgia had made a push in the 11th hour. Still waiting on a signature from Evan Stewart. Look, we ran that down as much as we could all day yesterday, through the night last night. We're still anticipating him signing his national letter of intent and faxing it into the Aggies before this opening window is up. Now, I wish I could give more details, but that's kind of where it's at. We don't have much more than that. I think, speaking to some sources in Dallas on Jason Howell's side, I expect everybody's expecting him to sign with the Aggies. Now, he may be pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. And if you go back and remember how he committed, it was just randomly out of nowhere. And he did it with a screenshot that he posted on Twitter from his Instagram. And so with the amount of social media following that this kid has, whenever he decides to eventually send his papers in to A&M or anywhere else, I think he kind of knows it's going to be national news. And perhaps he wanted his own moment for this deal. But we are not in any kind of panic mode or worry mode just yet. Like I said, all of our sources have indicated to us that Evan still plans on signing with the Aggies.
Bronny, Evan's one of, 4 really big targets out there. Denver Harris, Shamar Stewart, Harold Perkins. How confident are you for A&M to get each of those or all 4? I mean, that's probably asking, to be dealt 4 aces at the poker table, asking for a lot. But, what do you think about the chances of getting each of those individually?
Olin, I go back a couple of weeks where I spoke about, if everything falls the right way with this recruiting class, you could end up with not only the number one group in the country, but the number one group of all time. And things never go, exactly the way you want them to in recruiting. But if you were to ask me individually about each of those kids, I'd still say A&M is the leader. And that's pretty incredible to say after what transpired yesterday, right? Like, you just signed the number one class. You've got a commit out there that you're waiting on the paperwork, like we mentioned. But when you're not just him, but the guys you mentioned, Olin and Shamar Stewart, Harold Perkins, and Denver Harris, one of those national top 20 guys in the country. So, you've made this big, beautiful cake, and you've got it ready. And then you've got the three most glorious cherries to put on top to finish it off. It really is. It's just that extra icing on the cake if you're able to do this. But, I like what you said, Olin, about, this is, or maybe David, you said it, this is how you win championships. Like, this is what it takes. And you need those three cherries on top, because if you don't get them, maybe Georgia, LSU, Texas, Alabama, they're going to get them. So, I know this A&M coaching staff under Jimbo Fisher won't ever rest on their laurels in recruiting. And they've got to go finish this thing despite what they just did yesterday.
Hey, Bronny, clear up some Denver Harris stuff. I think his situation might be similar to Evan, where people thought he was going to sign yesterday. There was some thoughts he could, and now it looks like he's going to decide after the championship game. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, Sam Kahn reported yesterday. He reported the same thing that we had gotten. My intern, Walker Lott, was actually on the ground there at North Shore. They had a signing day ceremony for a couple of their guys. Denver was out there, and he was present. And he told Sam Kahn that he plans on signing in this early window and then announcing on Saturday, either before or after the state championship game. Now, North Shore plays Duncanville at 3 o'clock at AT&T Stadium on Saturday. So that'll be something to watch before and after the game, and then obviously during the game. That's the third time's a charm maybe for Duncanville in a matchup between two of Texas powerhouses in 6A Division I. So, the game itself was going to generate a lot of views and eyeballs, David, but now when you add on top of it potentially a announcement of a signing from one of the top players in the country, it makes everything a little bit more intriguing.
Isn't it fun that it seems like the Georgias and the LSU and the Alabamas of the world and everybody else are somehow kind of mad at A&M right now?
Right.
Do you get that feeling?
Yeah, we were on air for, over 7 hours yesterday, something like that. And then we went to the Christmas party, and we really didn't get on a ton of social media stuff last night. So I haven't checked the pulse of what's going on in other fan bases. We had plenty on our plate to cover and chase down yesterday. So, Olin, if that is how it is, then you're doing something right. And this whole narrative that you should know your place and that A&M, you'll get the stats thrown at you whenever you tweet anything positive toward A&M, right? You went 8-4. You haven't won a championship since 98. You get all that stuff, but at one point, Clemson was a nobody.
Right.
Like these schools, and Clemson had the resources similar to A&M to go out and do big things, and Dabo Swinney led them to the promised land multiple times. You're crazy if you think Jimbo Fisher can't do the same thing with the resources and prowess of Texas A&M as a university, and you're seeing it. After an 8-4 season, he goes out and signs the number one class, potentially the best class of all time.
Bronny, if anything breaks, we'll get you back on here tomorrow, all right, my friend?
All right, thank you, guys.
Go Cougars.
Go Browns. Thanks, man. On the BCS hotline there. Appreciate Ryan Broniger, who did great work yesterday. The entire recruiting staff has been. They told us all this stuff September, October, that this stuff was possible. They have been right every step of the way. Now dominoes have to fall, and kids can change their mind and whatnot. But what excellent work by Bronny. Yeah. And Jimbo's staff needs to be the headline there.
I was going to say, Jimbo's staff, obviously, they did an amazing job and are still doing it. But next to them, Bronny, Hal, Billy, they've just been amazing being on top of all this.
So it's
been so much fun to follow.
Let me set the agenda for the day. We're going to have Dave Raffield, the Bridgeland head coach, Connor Wegman's head coach, here from high school days on at 8:20. Stephen McGee, 8:35. Coach John Pierce, who coached at A&M in the late 80s and early 90s. He was responsible or worked with a lot of the great running backs of that time. He's going to join us at 9:05. Gary Blair in studio, 9:35. Billy Lucci on a mobile. The real Billy Lucci will join us fresh off his karaoke performance last night. And we got an interview that Bronny did with Donovan Green, and Tat Bentz to talk some college hoops with us at 10:35. So we have a loaded show. I'm going to go around the room and say hello. Dalton, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I thought he might be asleep after yesterday.
I'm not far from it.
No. You know what, though? I'll give him this. Last night, and I'm sorry if I'm saying too much information, Dalton said, hey, just make sure, text me when you get in to make sure we're all awake, because we all had our Christmas party yesterday. He texted me before I had a chance to check on him. So he was up early, ready to roll.
I was up. I don't know if you want to say coherent at my best. No, but I'm up. I'm here. You're on air.
We are on air. Let's go to the News and Social Center. I've got a little, what's the word I want to use here? I'm a little angry. Yeah, you know how to turn on your mic, Tori? Just press the little button. There we go.
Is it on?
There we go.
There we go.
So yesterday we're at the Christmas party, and all the college kids that were graduating and having a good old time were giving me dirty looks and like saying, David, why don't you join us on the karaoke machine? And like angry that like Billy was singing, and Clay, who's got a phenomenal voice.
Yeah,
did you sing yesterday?
Singer. No, I don't sing.
Yeah, I don't sing. And Tori was like, Meredith, everybody's like, come, Selena, like, when are you going to go sing? And like using that voice. Let me explain something to you. All right, my friend Tori. I woke up at 4:15 in the morning yesterday. That's A. I was tired at 8:44, okay? That's A. B, I don't sing. C, I don't drink. It's really hard to do karaoke when you don't drink and everybody around you is drinking. Just want to make sure that you understand that's how it works in this world.
Get them.
You were angry.
I think there's two sides to every story, right? Because I never looked at you with a dirty look. I would look at you like, hey, come join us.
And what did I say?
Come in. And you went like super serious, and I was like, okay,
not gonna happen.
He doesn't want to karaoke. It's all good.
Yeah, I don't karaoke. You know what? I will be very honest with you. I've realized I'd say since I stopped drinking in 2005, 2006, just because I wanted to, by the way, I didn't have a problem. And I'm socially awkward in those settings because everyone's having a good old time. My wife's having a glass of wine. Everybody, hey, yeah, let's dance. Let's do karaoke. And I'm just like, no, I'm ready to go home. Goodbye. I didn't expect the silence and the laughter, but okay. You have any news or text to get into?
I have no headlines because we had a signing day, and a whole lot of that is just kind of covering up the news right now. But I do have a text for our topic today of giving us a one-word describing A&M's recruiting class. We have Bayou Ag saying one word, validating. This validates the culture Jimbo has built.
Yes, it does validate. In fact, I asked Jimbo yesterday about all the hard work, what this signifies, and he just says, hey, they believe in what we're doing. That we're showing them that this is the way, that our direction is the right direction. And people bought in. And again, the fact that their defensive coordinator, Mike Elko, leaves a few days before signing day, and they didn't lose anybody.
Yeah, I saw some guy who's, I guess, a big Texas super fan had tweeted out right after Elko left, and he was saying something like, A&M talk about having the top class, and then their defensive coordinator has left. I'm going to enjoy watching it, fall apart or collapse or whatever. And I'm thinking, well, hope he had a good day yesterday.
Yeah. Look, I'll be honest. Props to Texas too. However they did it, and we'll find out, what strategies they use. They even after a terrible year, they had a top class, but nobody, not Alabama, not Georgia, has the top class right now, and that's Texas A&M.
Yeah, what Texas does to me is really insignificant. I mean, would I've liked to have had Kelvin Banks? Yes.
Yeah.
But other than that, fine. They're not in the SEC, not going to be in the SEC, looks like, until 2025.
Saw that report.
So they're, really that program is insignificant to me. A&M's got to be looking at, as always, LSU. How about LSU ranked 18th in their class?
Clemson ranked low. USC ranked low. Some heavy hitters with coaching changes, not Clemson. Clemson had the coordinators who changed, but some schools that you would expect to be in the top 10, nowhere near it.
Yeah, it's really eye-opening, especially Clemson. I wonder how that's playing in LSU in Louisiana right now. The 18, because they're used to being in the top,
no matter who the coach
10
is.
or 5.
Yeah. Hey, when we come back, David Raffield, the head coach at Bridgeland High School, will be joining us to talk about Connor Wegman. Right now, I want to talk about our friends at the Association of Former Students. Randy's going to be stopping by studio on Tuesday to chit-chat a lot about what they have going on right now. But they're just they've been built to support the Aggie Network. They've been doing it for 140 years, and it's your financial gifts and your donations that have gone such a long way to make the association here, there, and everywhere. And they certainly are everywhere, from the student organizations that they support to the Warrior Scholar Project, Student Muster Committee, the ROTC, the Fish Drill Team, all the great stuff that they do. And they do that with your support. And you can do that by becoming a Century Club member. And it's not hard to do. $100 a year, $9 a month. You can get the plaque, the decal, and the Texas Aggie magazine. Plus, you're continuing in the oldest, most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping other Aggies. To be a part of it, all you have to do is go to the website, aggienetwork.com/giving, if you want to make a gift or get involved. aggienetwork.com/giving.
Merry Christmas.
Season's greetings to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to all the military and all the troops everywhere across the world.
From TexAgs Radio.
The association, because they support so many different things and they are involved, as a student, you feel like you have somebody in your corner.
We know that Alfredo's family has never seen him march live at Kyle Field. With the help of the Association of Former Students, we're going to end that today. Alfredo's family is here with us.
To the Association of Former Students, I don't know how much I can thank you enough for giving me hope that for anything that goes wrong, something good is going to happen out of it. Whatever they do for the school, it's always going to come out with a smile on someone else's face.
To learn more about the association's impact or to make a gift, visit tx.ag/giving.
Howdy, I'm Hunter Shurtleff of the Shurtleff Law Firm. Choosing the best attorney for your case is the first important decision you must make. You should expect your lawyer to meet with you personally, answer your calls, and guide you through our complex legal system. For over 20 years, my clients have trusted me to handle their civil trial cases in state and federal court. I've represented Fortune 500 companies, small business owners, and individuals just like you who need help. Whether you've been injured or your business is being threatened, you need a lawyer and I can help. To find out more about me and my law firm and how to schedule an appointment, go to bcsattorney.com.
Hello, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Bowl game preview brought to you by T-Mobile. With Zach Calzada entering the transfer portal, there's been plenty of speculation as to who will be Texas A&M's starting quarterback for the Gator Bowl. Coach Jimbo Fisher was asked about QB1 yesterday during his signing day press conference.
Yeah, Blake will be our guy. And Haynes has gotten back in practice. We're just getting him out there just to get reps and just to get, parts of practice. And his body can't, you can't bring a guy back and do all that. But we'll get through and play. Blake will do a good job.
Blake, of course, is freshman walk-on Blake Bose. The lefty from Port Neches Groves has appeared in 5 games this year, completing 2 of 7 pass attempts for 18 yards and an interception. Now, of course, he'll be tested on New Year's Eve when the 25th-ranked Aggies square off against number 17 Wake Forest in the Gator Bowl. Kickoff is at 10 a.m. in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm Zach Taylor, and that's been your Aggie Bowl game preview brought to you by T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC.
The Louis Bellina Show and T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC, want to send you to the Gator Bowl and watch the Aggies beat the hell out of Wake Forest. Go now to zone1150.com and enter. No purchase necessary. The deadline is Friday, December 24th. At 2 p.m. Win 2 tickets to the Gator Bowl, gas cars to get you there, $200 in Rudy gift cards, and a T-Mobile swag bag. Enter now at zone1150.com.
And we're back, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Looking back at that amazing recruiting class, and really the cornerstone pieces started way back when. The Donovan Greens of the world, the Connor Wegmans of the world. We're all excited to see what Connor's going to be able to do. And, I don't know if he's going to be starting next year, the year after, or whenever. But this is a guy that I think, people are so excited about because of the intangibles, the competitiveness, dual sport stud.
Well, I saw him play on TV. I think it was their first game of the year, and I was just blown away. It was the first time I'd seen him play, and I think, I hope the team he's playing is good because this guy was on another level. Yeah. So very exciting that he's going to be part of that he is part of this class.
Well, let's go to the BCSI hotline. Let's talk a little bit about what Connor Wegman's going to mean to this program. David Raffield, the head coach there at Bridgeland, joining us here on the BCSI hotline. Coach, how are you, sir?
Doing great this morning. How are you guys?
Doing wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. So people have been excited about Connor for a long, long time. So you, as somebody who has seen him every day for the last few years, tell us what kind of man we're getting first in Connor Wegman.
He is a stud. He is well-grounded, built off a work ethic and a competitive spirit. He is a complete young man that I'm excited to watch grow in college.
Coach, what does he do best, and what do you think he's going to have to improve on, in a successful collegiate career?
I think what he does best, like I said, we keep talking about his competitiveness. He's a year-round sport athlete who's always competing, and so no moment is too big. Whether it was the TV games, whether it's the district championship, whether it didn't matter, he seemed to always rise up and bring others up around him. He has amazing skill sets as a quarterback, things I've never had in my 35 years, but that's what stands out. Where's it going to grow from here? I think he continues to develop his technique, physically continue to develop like he's going to. He's only 18 years old. And then how does he adjust to the mental game in college? We run a pretty high-level offense, but it's nothing compared to what they do in the collegiate world.
David Raffield here with us, the Bridgeland head coach, talking Connor Wegman with us on TexAgs Radio. He's on the BCSI hotline. So Jimbo Fisher yesterday said that he makes the players around him better. How does he do that, let's say, at first during the games, but also during the week?
I go back. At Bridgeland, we have a philosophy of working really hard every day to get 1% better. Connor has grasped that. He had that before he ever came to us. Through his parents and the way he's grown up. Because of that, every moment on the field, he's constantly trying to get better. He has taken those day-to-day work habits and put it onto the field. His expectation is unbelievably high, not just of himself, but of his teammates. And when someone expects a lot out of you, you tend to rise up. And that's what I see around his teammates, is they don't want to let him down. But they also know that he's going to give them a chance to make big plays. And so it feeds off of each other. And everybody on that football team gets better when he's on the field.
Coach, can you remember or tell us a story about a time or a moment when you thought, hey, I might have something pretty special here with this young man?
Yeah, first scrimmage in the spring of his freshman year. And we'd seen him play. I'd seen him play 5 freshman football games, and I'd seen him, and he looked good. But I don't get real excited about freshmen. And we're in spring football, and the defense is turning up the heat, and the ones are out there, and they're blitzing. It's not fair. Offense is getting frustrated, and I see him drop back. He rises up and dumps off a screen, and I thought it was Dan Marino. I mean, he looked like he was 6'6" in the pocket, and dropping the ball off with an arm angle, and just everything was flying. I was like, holy crap. I was in shock. And from that moment, I knew there was something special in that kid.
So he'll be here in the spring, early enrollee. Very excited to see him get to work. He's somebody who wants to play right away, as most kids do. But does he have a legit shot to play pretty fast, even though there's going to be, we expect, a very nice quarterback room here?
There ought to be a heck of a room there. I know this, and I'll go the same thing. If he's not the starter, he's going to make the starter better. He's going to work his tail off and compete. And so whoever comes out of that room, the starting quarterback, is going to be good for the A&M Aggies.
Coach, when I watched him on television, I expected, because he was a highly rated quarterback, for him to throw well, and then he I don't know that I thought I'd seen him throw that well, but what really kind of surprised me, and just because I had not seen him before, was that kids can really run. He's really fast. I thought that that was something that, was something that just put him on another level.
Yeah, a lot of people just didn't understand that. He grew up playing running back in Little League, and he first was playing football, and he got banged up bad last year, his junior year, and so we didn't ask him to run near as much. We asked him to just get rid of the football, and for his own protection and for our football team. And so nobody really knew he had those wheels. And then this year, in the first game, we kind of unleashed the dragon on the planet there. He took off, and you saw the whole product.
Coach Raffield, congratulations on such a great program that you've built there, and Connor's success as well, having a big piece of that. And thank you so much for joining us. Let's do it again.
No problem. Y'all have fun.
Thank you, sir. David Raffield here.
I think we're going to have fun watching Connor Wigman.
Yeah, he is such a stud out there. When we come back on the show, Stephen McGee is here, okay? He dropped by. So we'll have a little McGee action here, but I want everybody to go to AggielandOutfitters.com. Yesterday, if you were watching the show, I told you guys go. The site was blowing up, and I'm like, you know what? Send some love to Aggieland Outfitters and send yourself some love. Get yourself Aggie gear for 20% off, online only. So you want to do a big purchase right now, get Christmas shopping done. What you do is you go to Aggieland Outfitters, you find whatever you want, and then in your head just say, all right, I'm going to take off 20%. Because you can by typing in the code TexAgs21 when you do the checkout. Type it in, 20% off your entire purchase. We're talking the best Aggie gear out there. You want to have, yesterday was such a historic day, and it's going to continue to be a historic weekend. You need to have Aggie gear to celebrate, guys. So get yourself an Aggie hoodie, get yourself an Aggie hat with the best quality and the best brands out there at Aggieland Outfitters, and get it for 20% off by typing in TexAgs21 at checkout. Those are for online purchases, AggielandOutfitters.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. In recognition of its diamond anniversary, the Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History announces a new mini exhibit celebrating 60 years of service to the Brazos Valley and the state of Texas, on display through January. After a year like no other, you can be part of a new beginning for girls when you volunteer with Girl Scouts. Learn more at gsctx.org/volunteer. Blood centers throughout the country have experienced a significant drop in donations. Visit giveblood.org to schedule your blood donation today. The Brazos Valley Farmers Market is open in downtown Bryan each Saturday from 8 to noon. All produce is grown locally from friends and neighbors you know and trust. You can hear the college football semifinals, Alabama versus Cincinnati, and Georgia takes on Michigan. New Year's Eve starting at 2:30 here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Howdy, this is Steve Bledsoe, fighting Texas Aggie class of '83, with some exciting news. Verabank is now open with our new full-service location on Highway 6 in College Station. With personal bankers, business bankers, Verabank has everything you need in one convenient location. Come see for yourself where genuine banking is waiting for you, and you can bank on it.
Visit verabank.com today. That's VERA bank.com. Verabank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Looking for a gift that's classy and relaxing? Pamper the ones you love this Christmas with a day at the spa. French Door Spa and Salon makes it easy with holiday packages packed with everything. From massages, facials, aromatherapy steam showers, and sea salt glow treatments, with some packages even including champagne and chocolates. French Door Spa and Salon has several different packages to fit any budget. Or drop by anytime and pick up a gift card. Quick, easy, and make great stocking stuffers. The French Door Spa and Salon. Click on FrenchDoorSpa.com or call 696-8992.
Howdy, y'all. This is Cullen Gillespie, former 12th man. I've always tried to help my team on and off the field. And now I'd like to help Texas A&M fans like you cut their electricity bills in half. Yep, in half. It takes less than 5 minutes and you'll save hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars every year. 90% of Texans overpay for electricity, so don't be one of them. Sign up today at EnergyOgre.com and use code GILLY, G-I-L-L-Y, for a free month of service.
From opening night to Super Bowl 56, don't miss a second of the NFL's biggest season ever. Hi, this is Kurt Warner of Westwood One.
Join our crew each week for the best primetime NFL action. Thursday, Sunday, and of course, Monday Night Football. Listen to the NFL's brightest stars on Westwood One, the exclusive radio home for every primetime NFL game. Right here
on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, The Zone.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's break it down with Paragon Financial's Stephen McGee, our quarterback, our QB1. Good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, it's good to be here. It's amazing. Someone internally scheduled the TexAgs Christmas party on the same day as signing day, so everyone looks a little bit tired. A little bit tired.
Yeah, a little tired. Yeah,
it's a big day around here, signing day.
But I mean, I really have no room to complain. I was in bed by 10.
You and I are of the same cloth. Like 9:30, it's.
I started planning my exit at 8:48. I started telling people, "You will not see me soon. I'm going to just escape. There's no goodbyes. Just get out of here." And then my wife wanted to have another glass of wine, and so. But it was a great day to celebrate, though.
Obi, what's your what time is late for you? Like when do you look at your clock?
Well, it depends on the day. It depends on what I'm doing. Saturday,
11.
Man, my head doesn't hit the pillow till 11:15. Now sometimes we've been known to close the bar.
Really?
Yeah. Of course, the bar closes at 10.
Lubies?
You're in
the salad bar.
The salad bar.
You know, back in the day, I'd stay up all night. I really would. But those days are long gone.
Salad bar.
You know what? We typically stay up till 1:30 at least because that's the young man's curfew, and we stay up till he gets home. so that's it's not quite what you're looking for. No. If we go out and party, we're usually back home before midnight.
Yeah, I feel like we're in that part of life where we look at each other like, it's only 9:15. Doesn't it feel like 12:30? Maybe it's because the sun goes down so early nowadays, but anyway.
Hey, so let's start off with Connor Wegman. We just talked to his coach there, Dave Raffield from Bridgeland. And when you see the film, what do you see?
I really believe I think he's the best quarterback we've ever signed at A&M. I mean, he's complete. He's got the arm talent that you want. He's got the size that I think Johnny didn't have. But he's got that ability to make plays with his legs, right? I mean, he's a unique athlete as well. And he's got the accuracy. He makes all the throws on tape. He's an aggressive thrower downfield. He's productive, right? And I think the most important thing you look for, sometimes these highly recruited quarterbacks come out and they're 5-5 in high school. And I've never understood how a guy that's that good of a player is on a 5-5 football team. If you're the number one quarterback in the country, you should win football games at the high school level, even if those guys around you aren't necessarily great. And I think that's been true for him. I don't think he's in a historically winning program, if you will, like South Lake Carroll or whatever else, and yet they're winning. And I think it's largely in part because of him. I think he's a must sign, right? I mean, the quarterback numbers we're about to start a true freshman walk-on in a bowl game, and you're thinking, man, how do you ever get to this point, right? You can't miss on a quarterback. We missed on one, and all of a sudden, and another guy transfers, and then Calzada's out, and here we are, you know? And so getting depth at quarterback position was a must-have in this class, and Connor definitely brings that. I still, from a numbers perspective, you have to think that because you only signed one in the class, you have two scholarship quarterbacks that you are probably going to have to go out and find a veteran guy, like a Jay Kubanek or somebody, you would think.
I think what you got to do is look at the rankings and compare. Like Connor Wigman's number, his ranking is, according to the rank servers, is a 9901. I mean 9901. Now compare that to 2004.
Oh God!
The top recruit was Stephen McGee, 9222. Now
that's pretty good.
He played in the NFL. So he played in the NFL at 9222. So this
What's Connor going to do?
So you can extrapolate.
I'm thinking Canton.
Exactly.
Because McGee was good. I like to give him a hard time, but he was good.
He was very good, yeah.
And he was a 9.222.
I think Connor, look, quarterbacks are hit or miss. I understand that. A lot of things have to happen for a guy to get the right opportunity. In today's football, the sad story is going to be that Haynes King and him are going to be the same age, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going to have two freshman quarterbacks. And look, at the end of the day, both those guys can transfer immediately and go start somewhere. And so the likelihood of one of those guys being gone is just on the table, right? And that's the unfortunate reality of modern-day college football in the world of NIL and free transfer. It's hard to stack the quarterback room. It just is.
It really is. It's hard to have a good backup quarterback because if you are good and you don't win your competition, that's a good chance that you're going to transfer. I mean, they did that even before.
Yeah.
You could just play immediately.
Yeah.
So, that is something to worry about. You wonder if maybe somebody's their first year is willing to learn because, quite frankly, nobody ever wants to do this, but at the quarterback position, you really benefit from a redshirt year.
Yes, you do.
Yep.
Did you have a redshirt year?
I did.
Did you benefit?
100%.
I
got the benefit of redshirt and an additional spring. So I got basically a year and a half. I literally, when I left A&M, I had run out of scholarship money. They said, we can no longer cover any more classes for you at Texas A&M.
Wow.
I was here so long. So, but to your point, OB, absolutely.
I wonder how much NIL money Steve McGee would have gotten.
God, I would have been loaded up in John
Mercedes,
Deere tractors, rifles, hunting trips.
There you go. That's more like it. So
Ruffino meats.
Let's keep it with the quarterback room because yesterday Jimbo said looks like Blake Bose is going to be the quarterback in the bowl game in the Gator Bowl. I'm still holding out hope that maybe Haynes gets a little bit of a look. Is there, outside of injury and not being 100% ready, right? But if he is ready, could you see him playing?
Yeah, and I assume that the rule is that if he plays, he still preserves his medical and or his red shirt because last year doesn't count, right?
Yeah, plus a red shirt is supposed to be four games.
Yeah. And
so it'll be 3.
It'll be 3.
So he would use up his normal red shirt, and then he'd still have the medical, I guess, theoretically, because COVID year doesn't count. So in that world, it would make more sense. I think if you burn a year for him, that's a little bit more difficult. But at this point, if I'm Haynes King, I got to get on the field, especially with Connor on the way. You've got to prove that you are that guy. The team needs that right now, especially with Calzada being gone. I think he is obviously the de facto starter. Day one, everyone assumes Haynes King's the guy, unless Connor just is able to absorb this offense so quickly and move forward. But look, it's a great opportunity for Blake Bose too. Yeah. I mean, who would have thought? So much about life is timing, being at the right place at the right time. And with all these great quarterback recruits, isn't it funny that going into a bowl game with Jimbo Fisher in, what is this, year 4 for him or year 5,
year 4,
that a true freshman walk-on quarterback is the potential starter in the bowl game.
Yeah.
Like that is timing, man. It's all about life right there. So who knows what happens, right? You write your own story. It's a great opportunity for Blake.
Yeah, absolutely great. So what does Jimbo have to do, though, with the offense, knowing that there's probably going to be some opt-outs and you have a walk-on freshman as your quarterback? Do you just simplify it? Do you go heavy run? What do you do?
I would imagine they do some wildcat things, probably put Anias back there a little bit in the quarterback role, get a lot of really good guys at running back. You had A-Chain, Spiller, and Anias, those 3.
Well, Spiller probably isn't playing.
Oh, that's true. Pro. Yeah, Spiller's out. Yeah, that's right. Pro, yeah. So, but
they're so loaded at running back. LJ Johnson, Lamar Daniels, A-Chain.
That's the one position that, I mean, we're stockpiled, right? I think as good as Isaiah Spiller was, we don't blink an eye.
Right.
But tempo, I think, right? Try to get him in and out, keep the playbook really simple. Not just for him, but for the other guys too at wide receiver, just where guys can go out and just run football plays and not have to think. That's going to be really important for the young group of guys. And then just hope that you win the game on the defensive side of the football. Turnover, the field position battle, all those type of things. I think that's where this game's ultimately won.
Going to have to run well. And they're going to have to run well no matter who the quarterback is. If it's Calzada, they're going to have to run well. Yeah. And you can run on Wake Forest. The question is, are you going to be able to run on Wake Forest when Wake Forest probably has nobody or no fear of the passing game?
Right.
And if you can, then you might win by a wide margin. You can run with it on them despite that. And Steve will tell you, Blake, I mean, he played high school football in Texas at a high level. He's not without some skill. So if they are overplaying the run and you're able to run, he's going to have some open receivers to throw to.
Absolutely. And I think the opportunity there is he's going to have to handle pressure, right? If I'm a defensive coordinator, I go into the game thinking, man, if I get a true freshman walk-on out there, I know he's going to be drinking water from a fire hose trying to absorb this system. It's a lot playing in Jimbo's offense. I'm going to pressure him. I'm going to see if he knows where his hots, where his answers are. And the guys outside of just him that are going to be new faces, can you handle pressure early? And if he can prove that, get the ball out of his hands, find the hot answers, they're going to have a chance.
So let's talk a little bit about Zach, who announced he's going to be leaving. There are some rumors that A&M could be in the mix for a transfer quarterback because you got to have one. Jimbo even talked about that yesterday. When you look back at Zach, I know obviously the Alabama game is what everybody remembers, but how do you remember him beyond that?
What a tough kid, right? I mean, just handling. He earned so much respect from the Aggie fan base for how he handled the criticism, but also physically tough, right, on the field. And that's what I want first and foremost from my quarterback. I don't care if you're Tom Brady or if you're Blake Bose going into your first start. I want my quarterback to be tough. I want my team to see that. And he did that. And there's no denying that. A lot of talent, arm talent. I'm going to be closely following him wherever he goes. I think that he can provide a lot of upside for a program out there, and I would not be surprised to see him on Sundays with that arm talent. He's just got to figure out a way to fine-tune it, right, to be more consistent with the accuracy, the decision-making, and, of course, his feet in the pocket. That's kind of but he's a young guy. I mean, I think people forget that he's, 20 years old?
Well, this was his third
21
year
years
in the
old.
program.
So, I mean, he's got a lot of football in front of him.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of room for improvement and a big upside.
All right, so let's do this. Let's hit a break. We'll come back with That's Bull Crap, and we'll get some more thoughts here on signing day. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
He's admitted to wearing shorts on the news anchor desk. David Nuno on TexAgs Radio. I like him.
For service you can trust and a job done right the first time, contact Tom Line Plumbing and Irrigation. Whether it's commercial or residential, new construction or service, they have you covered. Tom and Shelby Line have been serving the Brazos Valley for 11 years, and their team of plumbers have more than 40 years of experience. Customer service is their highest priority. Trust your every plumbing need to Tom Line Plumbing and Irrigation. Click TomLYNEPlumbing.com today.
Ryan Broadcasting congratulates College Station Cougar football as they head to the state championship this Friday at AT&T Stadium. Don't miss any of the action. Listen to the game Friday at 7 p.m. on Maverick 100.9 and streamed online at RadioAggieland.com. Thank you to our sponsors, American Momentum Bank, Zwerneman Flooring, Binford Insect Control, and Kelly Burt Dozer. Tune in to College Station High School football on Maverick 100.9. Go Cougars!
Hey, Joe, I thought you were retired.
Living on a fixed income is tough. So here I am, an essential worker.
I know. I mean, food prices are going up every day. Thank goodness for benefitscheckup.org.
Benefits what?
Benefitscheckup.org. It's a free website where people over 60 can find help to pay for food, medicine, even utilities. I got $1,200 a year in benefits. Maybe it can help you.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Howdy's Pizza, BCS Tire Pros, Cotton and Oak Home and Style, Cilantro Mexican Grill, and more. Visit AggieLandBigDeals.com to save big. AggieLandBigDeals.com.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Rex, how concerned are you about Aaron Rodgers' pinky toe?
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. He's going to be fine. He's just wanting to get out of practice,
Can I clarify? You are the toe expert.
I'm a toe expert.
I heard you refer to yourself as a toe expert.
I'm a toe expert,
yes.
And so, guys, don't worry about it. He's going to be just fine. Nobody knows a toe better than I do. The dude's fine. He's just trying to get out of practice.
What? Spend your mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Mornings from 5 to 8 here on The Zone.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Stephen McGee's here. Paragon Financials, our QB1, breaking it down. It is now time for That Is Bullcrap, presented by Tom Line Plumbing. For service you can trust, consider Tom Line Plumbing, a great friend of Stephen McGee, longtime trusted plumber in and around the Brazos Valley. Check out tomlineplumbing.com. All right, Stephen, you got something on your mind?
Well, I always like getting just a little glimpse at his screen because I never know where you're going with bullcrap. But when I'm here in person, I get a kind of an idea here. I'm going to go off the grid. I'm going to say what's bullcrap is NIL. I'm scared to know what the future of college football holds. Here's my thought. In the NFL, the highest paid quarterback gets, generally speaking, 4 times as much as the highest paid coach. So let's say it's $40 million for the quarterback and roughly $12, I don't know what Belichick makes, million for the coach.
Right.
All right. There is no doubt the emphasis on the quarterback position is the most important position in all of sports. There's zero arguing that. In college football, what's the price tag currently for the best quarterback that will be back next year?
Was it like $2.5 million?
Maybe. Well, now it
sounds like I'm hearing $4 million for.
Now I'm hearing $4 million for a recruit that's never even played it down.
Yeah.
So my point is, if we're paying a coach $11, $12 million a year, where does the price tag go from here? We're talking about a great quarterback on our roster. What do we have to do to just keep Wagman on the roster? Do we pay him $2-3 million just to keep him as a backup quarterback? Is that the market? Is that where we're headed? It scares me, honestly. If you're willing to pay a quarterback $4 million or every scholarship offensive lineman $50,000. Where does it end? And ultimately, it becomes a monopoly, right? It's going to be the who's who, the big 4 programs, and everyone else. So the legal system has created a monopoly in which they try to break up in the real world, right? In the markets, the Amazons, the major tech companies. And so to me, it's just there's pro sports and there's college sports, and I don't know.
I agree with you, and I don't know how you fix it, and I don't know if you can fix it now.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. OB?
Speaking of fixing, here's what I think is bull crap is Leah Thomas. You know about Leah Thomas?
No, tell me more.
Leah Thomas set the Ivy League swimmer at Penn.
Okay.
Set a national record this week in swam 4 minutes 34 seconds and 06 in set a national record in the 1,650 yard freestyle. Also won, or maybe. No, that was the 500 freestyle. But anyway, the point is, also set a couple more records. The reason how come I find this to be bullcrap is she's a guy.
Oh, I did hear about this. Yeah.
Leah Thomas competed for 3 years on the Penn men's swim team and then decided, well, I'm actually identifying as a woman. I'm trans. And so now I'm swimming as a woman and setting all these records. Mm-hmm. And I think that's bullcrap. I think women should be able to compete against women fairly. Maybe they need to.
Does he wear a top? How does that work when you go to the women's team?
Yeah.
Or did he swim topless?
I did not see it. And not sure if I want to. I don't know. My answer is I don't know. But I'm looking at the picture, and that's a guy.
Looks like he could be a tight end.
So yeah, I think that's bull crap.
All right, I think this is bull crap. Florida State fans burning Deion Sanders' jersey yesterday. Look, I don't like the fact that they can spend, what was it, Barstool helping them with
$1.5 million.
Yeah, I don't. But whatever, it is what it is. But the fact that you're mad at your former player, superstar, because he's doing his job at a very high level, and now you're going to burn his jersey. Like, you can be mad that you lost the recruit. There's no doubt about that. I get that. But to take it out on Deion Sanders and now he's the worst person. It's like that one time I had a highlight on the University of Texas at ABC 13, and I got hate mail for even showing Texas on the air. Goodness. And my buddy Greg Bailey got some heat for that as well. So that all
supposed to do, right?
You got to do your job, you know.
Can't blame them.
Just don't wear orange.
Remember all those times, though, guys like McGee could not make any money. You know, if somebody wanted to pay your autograph or let you talk about something, you couldn't make any money.
Right.
And then I don't know if you had to deal with this, but there was the rule that the university could provide bagels but not cream cheese. I mean, the NCAA had all these ridiculous rules, and now it's all kind of come to roost.
Well, according to Jimbo, it's always been going on, though, but just maybe now anybody can benefit from it. It wasn't just the superstars.
Yeah, they tried to police it so hard. Like you couldn't have protein powder recovery drinks that had X amount of protein in it. You would have to have a collegiate muscle milk. It was too extreme, right? I mean, your football program should be able to provide their athletes whatever pre-workout, post-workout drinks they need. I mean, that's how extreme it was. And now all of a sudden you're paying them millions.
And somebody was probably getting some money for that collegiate muscle milk. And we were talking about this. The example of why there needs to be NIL, it's just kind of out of control right now, is that the punter of San Diego State made All-American. So by him making All-American, Coach Brady Hoke got a $10,000 bonus, and all of his assistants got a 1% bonus based on what their salary was because the punter made All-American. Now, I got an idea that Brady Hoke didn't spend a whole lot of time coaching this kid to punt.
True.
But in his contract, if he had an All-American, he got a $10,000 bonus. Did the punter get anything? Nope.
Probably true. And here's the other thing I want to add to the NIL is how do these contracts get configured down the road? If you're going to pay a recruit $4 million who's never stepped on campus that has potential attitude issues that could potentially transfer, do you put in the contract the $4 million is due over 4 years? You get it as long as you're on the roster in the bowl game. I want to see you play to the bowl game.
You have to have that in writing moving forward. And I think Quinn Ewers got paid big time at Ohio State, and he left in 4 months, 5 months?
And now the car dealership is trying to put a spin on his, like they're trying to make it like, we miss you instead of, anyway, you get the point.
Hey, 30 seconds, if you can give me a quick thought on Max Johnson, who could be joining A&M if you believe some of the rumors out there with his brother signing.
I love him. Everybody knows that. I told one of the coaches here, I'm a big fan of him. I thought he played really well 2 years in a row against us. I think he's decisive. He understands football. You could tell his dad was an NFL quarterback. He sees the field well. I think a lot of the areas that Zach struggles, this guy makes up for, and he's a good athlete, and he's got compete in him. You can see the fire. I love that. I think he'd be a great addition to the room. It would bring some real competition for Haynes and Connor.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Thanks very much. All right, when we come back, John Pierce is going to talk about his time here at A&M and also the new book he's working on. It's TexAgs Radio.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
I can do this.
We believe in you.
Each day brings hope.
Every day, millions of people celebrate their recovery from addiction and mental illness while others begin their journey. Be a part of it. Share your strength, support, and hope. Join the Voices for Recovery. Together, we are stronger. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Have a rockin' new year with your family and friends. And with all of us here at The Zone. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. College Station firefighters ask you to inspect and clean out or replace vent fans. That's after several bathroom vent fires in the past few years. The latest was Tuesday night at the Pearl Apartments. Firefighters responding to a resident who heard his smoke detector found a vent fan on the floor that had melted and was still on fire. Damage was limited to where the fan fell. The same week, One BioCorridor Corporation announces a large expansion. Bryan Mayor Andrew Nelson questions what's happening at another.
Fuji's got lots of cars out there. They're doing great. Most of the businesses out there are doing well. I'm concerned about Viasat. It seems to be an empty parking lot. I'm not even sure there's any jobs left. I'd love someone to look into that for our community since they have some obligations.
In response to the mayor's comments, Viasat's chief people officer says that due to the pandemic, their employees have the flexibility to work remotely. In a statement to WTAW News, Melinda Kimbrough also said they expect Viasat's BioCorridor office, which is one of 32 around the world, to see continued growth. A former dean of Texas A&M's Agriculture College and system vice chancellor is returning as acting dean and vice chancellor. Mark Hussey has been president of Texas A&M Kingsville since 2019. Taking over as acting president at Kingsville is system vice chancellor for academic affairs, James Hallmark. Once a new ag college dean is hired, Dr. Hussey will become director of A&M's Borlaug Institute. There's an effort to keep United Airlines serving Easterwood and the Fort Hood-Killeen airports. A letter was sent to United CEO from Congressman Pete Sessions, Roger Williams, and John Carter, along with Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz. The Republicans want answers to 6 questions by next Tuesday, explaining how United reached its decision to discontinue service to 11 airports next month. The elected officials say discontinuing service will impose direct harm on the increasing military presence at Texas A&M's Rellis campus and at Fort Hood. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
If you don't want to cook for Christmas this year, just call Cooper's at 979-485-5BBQ. Tell them how many people are coming, the Cooper's meat, sides, and desserts you want, and they'll get you fixed up. You can order group meals for the entire family, only the smoked turkey breast, or just the sides like bacon green beans and garlic mashed potatoes. Just don't forget the pecan cobbler or bluebell ice cream.
Experience the taste of nationally recognized Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue, locally and Aggie owned, voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley.
You have the right to know. The right to know about culture. The right to know about the economy. The right to know about technology and to know about sports. You have the right to know about education and politics and the weather. You have the right to know what's happening abroad and in your backyard. But above all else, you have the right to know that this right is under attack, and we must work to protect it. Because in order to be free, we must be informed. Understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M football signed the #1 recruiting class in the nation, according to 247. The Aggies inked a total of 25 players yesterday, pushing them past the likes of Alabama and Georgia. Here's head coach Jimbo Fisher.
I haven't ever remembered this day being easy, and I never have a recruiting class that was easy. So I ain't never remember winning was easy. I ain't remember nothing about football was easy. So that's what you got to understand. There's nothing easy about any of it. It's hard work, it's education, it's relationships. It's sometimes a 2-month relationship, sometimes it's a 3-year relationship. I mean, it's all encompassing, and it's always hard because they understand something. This is a very competitive world. We're in the most competitive league in ball. Everybody, and you're on the top players. That's a whole different animal now.
Fisher and company will likely sign a few more names before it's all said and done. For more on the 2022 class, continue to tune in on The Zone. Time for a look at the SEC, brought to you by T-Mobile. Now, as I mentioned, the Aggies had this year's top-ranked class, followed by Alabama and Georgia. Kentucky's at number 11, with Mizzou coming in at 12, Tennessee at 14, Auburn at 16, and LSU at 18. Arkansas sits at number 19. And that's been your SEC Sneak Peek, brought to you by T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
The Louis Bellina Show and T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC, want to send you to the Gator Bowl and watch the Aggies beat the hell out of Wake Forest. Go now to zone1150.com and enter. No purchase necessary. The deadline is Friday, December 24th at 2 p.m. Win 2 tickets to the Gator Bowl, gas cars to get you there, $200 in Rudy gift cards, and a T-Mobile swag bag. Enter now at zone1150.com.
Standing in the rain with his head hung low, couldn't get a ticket. It was a sold-out show.
All right, it's TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Excited about our next guest. Hunter Goodwin emailed me about Coach Pierce, and many of you have heard his name throughout the years. John Pierce coached here at Texas A&M from 1989 to 91, tight ends coach, running backs coach. He played here in 1965 and 66. Also was a very respected high school coach in and around the area, coached at SFA. He's got a new book coming out called A Private in the Texas Army, which has been published by State House Press, and they're part of the Texas Book Consortium and Texas A&M is a hub for them. So you can get that book on Amazon and of course, on Tamu Press as well. And here he is. And by the way, pre-order it now because Christmas is coming, so get it now and tell everybody the book is coming in. But Coach Pierce, thanks for coming in.
Man, I'm excited to be here. It's always great to come back to College Station.
Well, thank you. We've been dialoguing on email for the last month, and I want to get into the book. But let's kind of trace back your history and how your relationship with Coach Stallings and how you got to Texas A&M.
Well, back in 1965, I was in Gene Stallings' first recruiting class, and it was a great class. We had Ed Hargett, who's a record-setting quarterback, Tommy Maxwell, who got a Super Bowl ring with the Baltimore Colts, Billy Hobbs, a two-time All-American, Wendell Housley, a great running back who had that giant run against Alabama in the Cotton Bowl. And there was a lot of depth in that class. Gaddy Wells from Liberty, Steve Mullins, who was the only member of our class we lost in Vietnam, were added depth to that class. And so it was really a super class. And back then, recruiting was a lot different. A&M had like 15,000 students, I believe, at the time, and there were no girls. Just maybe the professor's daughters. And so when you got recruited, that was one of the biggest things used against A&M was there's no girls there.
Right.
And I can remember Coach Stallings addressing it in a meeting with all the recruits, said, hey, there'll be more girls on this campus on a weekend than any place in America. The only thing he didn't say is they all had dates. But I loved A&M, and in my recruiting visit here, I saw two sides of Coach Stallings. One, he was so nice in recruiting us. I mean, it was a great visit. And I came down here with Q Britton, who later won a state championship as a high school coach at Flower Mound Marcus. And we were in a meeting with Coach Stallings, and they wanted Q by far more than they wanted me. And we're meeting with Coach Stallings, and he turns to Q after being so nice and says, well, Q, what do you want to do? And Q says, well, Coach, I think I want to go to SMU. And suddenly this look totally changed. And Coach Stallings said, get out of this office right now. Get out of here. And he turned to me and said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be an Aggie. My voice just broke. And Coach Stallings said, I like the way you said that. Never has my voice been like that. And so that's how I became an Aggie.
Wow. That's
I want to be an Aggie.
Well, and what a place it's been for you because you've been here on several different occasions. So you've always been linked to A&M too, because as you told me before we started the interview, you've recruited for A&M, you've recruited against A&M, you've had high school players go to A&M that you coach. So let's go to that next phase in your coaching career, which was, I guess, the high school years.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess it ended up my stay at A&M. I was here 2 years, so I was not a great player for Texas A&M, but I lettered on the freshman team, and then my second year I was a red shirt back then. And I went into the spring of 1967, which was a big year for Texas A&M football. I was a backup linebacker. And in those days, and it's hard for a lot of people to believe, but in those days during spring training, you couldn't leave campus. Coach Stallings restricted us to campus. So here these guys, 18, 19, 20 years old, and they can't even leave campus during the week. So right before that time period, I met a little girl in my hometown of Sulphur Springs, 16-year-old girl, junior in high school, and I was starting to kind of fall in love with her. And so we got into spring training. Here we were restricted to campus. And her birthday, ironically, was on April 21st, which is a big date. It was a Friday, I believe. And anyway, so that Saturday night, I figured I can drive 200 miles home, have a date, celebrate a birthday, drive back where they can find me. And I did. And so I drove up there. Well, that night, they did a dorm check.
Oh, no.
And me and several others got caught off campus. So Coach Stallings, and he was right, brought me in and said, hey, I'm not going to take you off scholarship. I want you to come back in the fall, but you're restricted from spring training. You're out of it. So that summer, I went back to Sulphur Springs. Now she was 17 years old and going into her senior year, and really fell in love with her.
Yeah.
And so I decided to stay, and that's why I didn't come back to A&M. And that fall, all the Aggies got rings for winning the Southwest Conference Championship. And next summer, I got a ring, which I've had for 53 years. So it worked out for both of us.
It did work out for you. Talk to us a little about your Willow Ridge experience.
Willow Ridge was a great experience. In that time period, they had some of the top players in the state. Before I got there, they had Thurman Thomas, who was really an outstanding running back. And during my years, Charlie Arbuckle, there was an All-American there. Zarek Peters was an All-American, and several of them came to A&M. We had some great players here. Keith McAfee was a good running back for us. I got to actually coach him in high school and college. But those kids were just great kids, and it was a tremendous experience for me. All of my high school year, I coached in high school for 19 years, and all 19 years was great.
All right, so you end up on Coach Slocum's staff. How did the connection happen, and just bring me to that point?
Okay. Well, I'd gone to a lot of summer camps in the 80s with my son, Michael, when Jackie Sherrill was here. And I met RC, and RC also had recruited my high school when I was a head coach at Allen High School up north of Dallas. And in the spring of '89, I had actually taken a job at SMU, but they were on probation, that death penalty deal, and they couldn't hire me till June. And in the interim, RC called me and had us come up, and I brought my wife up here, and they wined and dined us, and it was awesome, phenomenal. I couldn't believe it. Plus, my daughter, Amy, was a student here. She's the class of '92. So it worked out perfect. And so when he offered me the job, there was no question that this is where I wanted to come, and it worked out great. My daughter graduated from here. My wife loved it here, and my son ended up being a first-team All-State receiver and Player of the Year in Houston for A&M Consolidated.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
So it's a great experience.
So I was looking through some of the players that you worked with, and I'm just going to read some names, and you tell me what you think. Darren Lewis.
Darren Lewis. Well, actually, I didn't coach Darren. He was Jim Helms was the running back coach.
You were a tight end coach at that time?
Yeah, I was a tight end coach. But anyway, Darren was a great running back. He was, I think when he ended his career, he was 5th in the history of the NCAA in rushing.
Yeah.
So a great running back.
Greg Hill.
Wow. Greg Hill time. My first experience with Greg Hill as far as a game was against LSU. We beat them 45-7. That was in '91. And Greg Hill set the record. I think it's still a record for the most yards rushing by a newcomer in the history of the NCAA. Great kid. When we came back for the 30th reunion here a couple of weeks ago, it's the first time I've seen Greg in 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And he still looked like he could play.
Yeah, and Rodney Thomas, another one.
I don't know how to explain Rodney. I was involved with his recruiting. Kirk Dahl was his recruiter, but I was involved because I was a running back coach at that time. And Rodney was the most sincere, innocent, nicest kid you've ever met. I remember that first year he was here, and I had him as a freshman. Loved the kid. But we went to Tulsa, the only game we lost that year. And when we came back, the next morning, Rodney showed up to get his equipment off the bus or off the truck to put up. That's what they did in high school. You had to put your own stuff up. And he was so innocent that on his first road trip, he came back to the Kyle Field to help put up his stuff.
Oh, wow.
That's the kind of guy, class act.
So yesterday was National Signing Day, and A&M just doing an amazing job. They got the #1 recruiting class. But one of the things that I wanted to get in with you is how recruiting has changed. Talk about recruiting then for you.
Oh, phenomenal. Phenomenal changes. I don't think I could do it today, to be honest. I admire all these guys. Back in that time period, you could sign, when I played, you could sign as many as you wanted. When I was coaching here, you could only sign, I think it was 30. And R.C. Slocum, man, what a recruiter. He was just phenomenal. And we had, I think the 3 years I was here, we had the top class in then the Southwest Conference each year, and some great players. But I think my recruiting experience, if I had to go back, probably the best guy I ever recruited here was Sam Adams, who was an All-American here, I think twice, and #1 draft choice in the pros. And also, it's probably my most unusual recruiting experience because in those days, you could take the head coach to the player's home one time. That's it. And so, and I think the assistant coaches go 3 or 4 times. So anyway, I'd been in Sam Adams' home and met his parents, and they were phenomenal. I mean, what parents? I mean, they loved that kid, and they wanted the best for him. And they blew me away by how good a family and sweet a family it was. So I made a coaching decision that I've never done before and never done since, and I took R.C. to have a home visit with him. It was one shot when Sam Adams was visiting USC. Sam wasn't even there. But I took RC to a Pee Wee football game that Sam's younger brother was playing in. And Big Sam, that's what we call him, Big Sam, Little Sam. Big Sam and his wife got to sit with RC through the whole ball game and then a home visit. And normally a head coach would have maybe an hour max with a player in it. He got 4.5 hours. Wow. And when it was over with, he had done such a phenomenal job selling Sam, Big Sam, that it was over. And so we got Little Sam. And Big Sam told me later, said that experience, because we came in without, the kid there, was the most sincere thing he had seen. So I took a great chance. RC probably would have fired me if we had got him.
Yeah.
But RC did such a great job with him that we got Big Sam, Little Sam. Got Big Sam, too.
If you can, Coach Pierce, show everybody the book. They're a private in the Texas Army. This is coming out very soon. There it is. We got that on camera right there. It's coming out December the 29th. You can pre-order it right now. How did the book come about?
Well, I actually have two. This is the other one that's already out. Both of them are by State House Press, which is part of the Texas Book Consortium, which A&M Press is kind of, as we said, the hub of. Both of them are diaries. This is from my grandmother from 1913-14, her junior year in high school. And it shows you what young people went through way back then. The silent movies and the Model Ts, different things that went on in their lives. And this is a book by my diary built around my dad's, a book built around my dad's diary that's from World War II, 1940 through 45. And it covered from the time that he joined the National Guard to when he came home. And it's really, I think, unique because generals wrote a bunch of books back in those days. And they did it mostly to cover themselves. Privates wrote books because they could tell you the true story. And about the wet socks, sleeping in the mud, drinking too much on R&Rs, and different things like that. And I think that's what's unique about this book is it covers not only the battles and the places they went, but it also covers the time behind the lines when they got off. They didn't fight 365 days. They had a few days off. And when they did, and they're 20, 24 years old, that they didn't know if they were going to die the next day.
Right.
So they would go back and they would blow it out a little bit behind the lines, and it's in the book. Nobody wants to, a lot of people didn't want to let you see that side of it, but this shows you that side. And so I think it's unique, and I think another thing that's unique about it is in the acknowledgments. I acknowledged two people who robbed my home. In 1984, when I was living in Sherman, Texas, and coaching there, I took a job at Willow Ridge, and while I was gone and my family was at school, two robbers broke into our home and robbed our home. Well, a realtor came in about that time, and as the robbers were going out the back door, they had a bag that had my dad's book, or diary, and all his war pictures, and they saw something else they wanted. So they poured those out in the floor and took the other thing and put it in a bag. And they left me with the most treasured thing besides our family Bible, the most treasured thing I could have, and that was a diary. So I thank the two robbers in the acknowledgments for robbing my home and leaving the book there.
It's a very personal story for you, too. Did you learn things through your research and through your reading that you didn't know?
Oh, quite a bit. I'm really not a writer. I'm more of a researcher and a historian type person. And I can take something like the diary I wrote around it. And I didn't realize how much they sacrificed and what they went through on a daily basis. Because and Dad's diary, and he wrote it every day. He kept it for 5 years. The only time in a diary there's a space, and it has to be covered with letters, when he was hit by a mortar in Arnold, France, in northern France, and was wounded and put out of action for a while. But I was able to trace what these guys did, and then I brought in other people. So it's not just about my dad. It's about the 111th Engineer Combat Battalion of the Texas 36th Division, and stories about what other people did that were so heroic in that time period. So it's I think a great book, especially looking at it from the eyes of a private.
You touched on it a moment ago, but just unfiltered and just right? Like it's there.
It's
raw emotion and thoughts.
It's there, and it follows Dad from when he joined. He graduated from high school in 1933, which is a historical year because that's when Hitler took over in Germany. Franklin Delano Roosevelt became the president, be the longest serving president up until when he came home at the end of the war. And it was really hard on these men when they came home. People looked at it like it was an 8-to-5 job when they came home, and they had been overseas. My dad hadn't been home in two and a half years, and when he got home, he was very disappointed. And the last chapter in it covers his disappointment. He wrote a letter. He wrote this all out, his disappointment, and then he found Christianity, and it changed his whole life. And so my dad, from then on, was just a role model for us all. But it was hard on those guys, you know.
How did you get into writing?
I think if I hadn't been a coach, I'd probably been a sports writer.
Okay.
I'm not very good, but I can't spell. If it weren't for my wife, Jamie, I don't know what I would do as far as punctuation and spelling. But I just enjoyed it. When I retired, well, before I retired, I made a call. I had a friend named Elwood Kettler. A lot of Aggies will know who that was. He was Bear Bryant's first quarterback in 1954, leading rusher, passer on the team. Well, I coached against Elwood. And I think I was at SFA at the time, and I called Elwood. He had just retired. And I said, Elwood, how's retirement? He said, John, I never knew how beautiful October was. And I said, well, we go to work, it's dark. We come home, it's dark in October. But what he was telling me was there's so much out there to do besides coaching. And so once I retired after the 2002 season at UCLA, came back, and I just got involved in this. And I've written a bunch of stories on my hometown, Sulphur Springs, and I love my hometown, and it just kind of became natural to me. And like I say, I can't spell, and I can't punctuate. Praise the Lord for my wife, Jamie, but it's just worked out.
Do you have any other books in mind that you would like to get to?
Oh, you know what? I've thought about writing one on A&M football when I was here. Most of my friends can't believe that my two books are not about football. They're about something totally different. But I have covered a lot of football in my hometown. I discovered when the first football game in Sulphur Springs history was ever played, 1911, and they celebrated that. But maybe something on A&M. I think I'd enjoy that. I've got a good friend here named Joel Sheffield that could really help me with that. He is a historian and a true Aggie all the way. I mean, how can you be more of an Aggie than Joel when you graduate from A&M in the 70s, you get your law degree, you go to your hometown, Sulphur Springs, practice law there for 40-plus years, retire, and what does he do? Moves to College Station because he wants to get back by Aggie football and Aggie athletics.
That's what I did. Exactly what I did.
Well, that's what Joel did. And so I think that there's just so much here for us people that maybe a book on A&M might be something to do.
So we've mentioned a lot of historical coaches here, from Bear Bryant to Gene Stallings to RC to Jackie. And now we have Jimbo, who's doing things at the highest level we've seen in a long time.
Wow.
Just from afar, when you see what Jimbo's doing on the field, off the field with the recruiting and whatnot, just tell me some thoughts.
Well, I've been able to look at it from a whole different perspective. I can sit in a chair and watch the games and watch all the program to get more inside than what you could ever do back in the day. And I think the program is headed in a phenomenal direction. And what happened yesterday, I mean, it's never happened.
All right.
And so when you're part of that history and you do that, then it's phenomenal. Let's just put it that way.
All right, I want to remind everybody to get the book right now. Pre-order it, A Private in the Texas Army. You can get that at tamupress.com. Just search for it. You'll be able to find it there. It is on Amazon as well. It's State House Press, and you can get it from the Texas Book Consortium, which is a hub with here at Texas A&M. Coach Pierce, I hope to do this again, and thank you for making – by the way, we found out that I lived down the street from him just a few months ago, and we didn't know.
In Greatwood, Sugarland.
Well, I wouldn't have done that. People are going to show up. No, I'm kidding. In Sugarland. But Coach Pierce, thank you so much for coming in.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And I hope everybody does get that book and does it right now. Speaking of which, documentary films, guys. Let's talk about that for a quick minute. So right now we've got this first-person account, very raw emotion. You can do that as well on film, though. That's what Heritage Films does out there. Chance McClain will make a documentary film about you, your father, your grandfather, your uncle, whoever it may be, and he'll do it in a Netflix-style, A&E-style form. So he'll go to your house, he'll light it up, he'll bring the crew, get the questions done. He's the most creative guy I know, done Broadway musicals, started a radio station, has done red carpet shows. His daughter Gunn goes to school here, so he is an Aggie at his heart, at his core. And he travels all around the country to do these stories. That takes about 8 to 10 weeks. Check out their website, yourheritagefilm.com. Yourheritagefilm.com. 713-893-8341. 713-893-8341.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays from the Zone.
Ho, ho, ho.
The Zone.
Merry Christmas, people.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Companies. If you thought you missed your chance to refinance and save,
Think again. Mortgage rates have recently dropped, and Rocket Mortgage can help you save big when you call 8338-ROCKET today. For example, with a $250,000 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, you could get a new low rate under 3%. If your current rate is over 3.75%, you could lower your payment by over $100 a month, saving thousands in interest. But you've got to act now, because no one knows how long these low rates will last. So when you need a simple way to get big savings, Rocket can. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. That's 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rocket. Refinance offer assumes a rate of 2.99%, 3.21% APR, 70% loan-to-value ratio for the cost of 1.75 points. $4,375 due at closing. Monthly payment of $1,052.66. Taxes and insurance not included. Payment will be greater. Rates current as of 7/26/21. Conditions apply. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
The strength of America, our values, our way of life hasn't just been won on the battlefield. It's won every day in our communities when we come together, extending hands of compassion, service, and hope to those who need it most. For over 100 years, the American Legion has been strengthening communities across our nation by providing life-saving help and support to our veterans and neighbors during times like we're facing today.
It's what the Legion's all about.
From blood drives to distributing food, from responding to emergencies and protecting the most vulnerable among us, our mission is making America's communities stronger.
We are one family, and therefore we care.
We are the American Legion, veterans strengthening America. To learn how you can help, visit legion.org.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Presented by Polaris Fun Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country, and Aggieland is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Polaris Fun Center sells and services Polaris ATVs, Rangers, Razors, Global Electric Cars, Otis, and the Polaris Slingshot. Polaris Fun Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC. And you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Rex, how concerned are you about Aaron Rodgers' pinky toe? Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. He's going to be fine. He's just wanting to get out of practice,
Can I clarify? You are the toe expert.
I'm a toe expert.
I heard you refer to yourself as a toe expert.
I'm a toe expert, and so, guys, don't worry about it. He's going to be just fine. Nobody knows a toe better than I do. The dude's fine. He's just trying to get out of practice.
What? Spend your mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Mornings from 5 to 8 here on The Zone.
How about that? Coach Pierce, John Pierce. Great book there. Even Tori like daydreams 97% of the time when I do an interview, and she's like, that was a great interview. And she goes, but not you. He was good. That's exactly how she said it. But we appreciate Coach Pierce coming in here to talk about his book, A Private in the Texas Army. One of the things I wanted to get into, by the way, it's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So I don't do the social media thing like Billy does. Billy is just, a wordsmith and has the right tact. But sometimes people come on my timeline and, say weird things. Oh, it doesn't matter. You're the number one recruiting class. You went 8-4 last year. Who cares? Same old A&M. And, I had to break down to them that, A&M always is an 8-win team. Well, actually, potentially they could have their third 9-win season in the last few years. I agree with everyone in the world that 8-4 was not good enough for this program and the direction it should be going. I also am not an idiot, and I recognize that sometimes when you have backup quarterbacks and other injuries, you're not going to be as good as you initially thought. I also recognize, because I like to recognize things apparently, that championships are built by consecutive years and being patient with the right system. So if you cannot see that A&M is headed in the right direction, right, not only from a recruiting standpoint, but from the product that they're putting on the field, then you're blind or you just don't want to see it. So yes, I agree A&M has to now go do it. Top 3 class, top 5 class, top 1 class. Yes, they've got to go do it. And you just got to hope the injury bug skips you. But that doesn't always happen. But this is not the same old Aggies. They're one of the most profitable universities in the world. I think, 1 or 2, I think I saw recently. They're Their football program is on the rise. They play in the hardest conference in the world, in the hardest division in all of college football. And they had a couple setbacks this year, but they're also headed towards big time things. So you've got to, A, see the work that is being put, and B, now you just got to go do it. And this recruiting class got to finish it out, and I think it's going to still get better. You got to add to it. And then next year you got to add to it. And then you got to hope that people develop into the player that you expect them to do. And if you can continue to cycle in the Bryce Fosters of the world, the Ruben Fotheries, the Connor Wegmans, the guys that we saw yesterday, the Walter Nolans, they will be playing in that SEC championship game soon, and they will be in the college football playoffs. I believe that. Look, just look at Clemson. It took a little while for Dabo to get things done there. And yes, they had a setback this year. But you continue to add the right pieces and the right people, it's going to play out the way it should. So to me, it says a lot about the future. It says, remember, like Olin was telling me before the show, like there were times that we thought a 17th ranked recruiting class was good. Not great, but pretty good, right? Got number 1. All right, let's look at that. And while other programs lose a player of DeMarvin Leal's stature, and potentially Kenyon Green, Isaiah Spiller, Daniel Watermeyer, like guys that are potential NFL or guys that have announced, Leon O'Neal's, right? A&M is going to lose some of those guys, but they are regenerating, to use a word from Gremlins. They're coming back. They're coming back with guys with that same level or more. And now they just got to put it together, and I think they will. I want you guys to experience the difference with Caprock whenever you're in an emergency situation or if you just need medical attention, because they are patient-centered care. They want to make you feel better. That is their exact purpose, to make you feel better. They are so good at what they do. If you've ever been in one of those situations, you've got to go, broken arm, whatever, emergency situations, it is a very stressful time. You want to make sure that you're taken care of. Nothing worse than going in a waiting room and like, yeah, I think I'm having chest pains. Will it be a few minutes, sir? No, there's no waiting in those emergency care situations, right? They are going to take care of you. They've got the best staff. They got laboratory outpatient testing. They have cash prices, by the way, that rival any of the competitors here in the Bryan College Station area. So go check them out for yourself. They've got Caprock Hospital in Bryant and Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station. They maintain a clean and sterile, safe environment. It is Caprock Health System.
I'm Tulsi Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. In recognition of its diamond anniversary, the Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History announces a new mini exhibit celebrating 60 years of service to the Brazos Valley and the state of Texas, on display through January. After a year like no other, you can be part of a new beginning for girls when you volunteer with Girl Scouts. Learn more at gsctx.org/volunteer. Blood centers throughout the country have experienced a significant drop in donations. Visit giveblood.org to schedule your blood donation today. The Brazos Valley Farmers Market is open in downtown Bryan each Saturday from 8 to noon. All produce is grown locally from friends and neighbors you know and trust. You can hear the college football semifinals, Alabama versus Cincinnati, and Georgia takes on Michigan. New Year's Eve, starting at 2:30 here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. I'm Tulsi Reber on the Zone.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's our 12 Deals of Christmas going on right now at your local Big Deal store. Hi, Jenny here, and I've been busy picking out the very best deals for you this holiday season. Each day is a different offer, and we have limited quantities, so run to your computer or smartphone and grab it quick.
Today's big deal is 50% off gift certificates from M&M Apparel. Go to AggielandBigDeals.com and grab that deal.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Texas Army National Guard. Aired by the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Hey, Joe, I thought you were retired.
Living on a fixed income is tough. So here I am, an essential worker.
I know. I mean, food prices are going up every day. Thank goodness for benefitscheckup.org.
Benefits what?
healthbenefitscheckup.org. It's a free website where people over 60 can find help to pay for food, medicine, even utilities. I got $1,200 a year in benefits. Maybe it can help you.
Let the Louis Bellina Show and T-Mobile make this the greatest bowl season ever. You can hear the Aggies beat the hell out of Wake Forest on Friday, December 31st, 10 a.m., right here on The Zone, thanks to T-Mobile. You can also hear the college football playoffs, the semifinals, the national championship game, right here on The Zone, thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. Spend your bowl season right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Welcome back. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio, the official insurance provider of TexAgs Radio. The difference is real. They can write any form of insurance out there. They're an independent insurance company built around educating you on exactly what you're paying for, doing the shopping for you. Their headquarters is right here in College Station on Highway 6. Call 888-44-ROLLO or go to rolloinsurance.com. We'll get you to your text messages on the A&B text line and the BCSI hotline. But first, our good buddy Gary Blair, Texas A&M women's basketball head coach. How are you, Coach?
Well, it's a beautiful Thursday. Weather is going to be good this afternoon. I think it's supposed to be 81 degrees on Thursday and Friday.
Love that. Love that.
And I'm going to take my grandkids to Santa Land on Friday.
All right. We have not been yet. We got to do that here in the next couple of days because we're running out of time. So we were chatting earlier, and I guess we'll start off with big picture stuff going on with this university, what Jimbo was able to do yesterday, what his staff is doing, how it helps every level of Texas A&M.
The regular students, the ones that are majoring in astronomy, the ones in engineering, political science, chemistry, nursing, whatever, it's a positive public relation things. It'd be like if somebody won the Pulitzer Prize, a former Aggie. We all use that in talking about Texas A&M, what it can mean to our university, whether it's Brianna Larson, who's Olympian as a swimmer. We can use that, what I think Mo did in track. We all gravitate towards success stories. And what Jimbo and his staff was able to do yesterday is mind-boggling. And I've had him close on a couple of my recruits. Okay, I cannot use him all the time if I walk by because every coach would be there and every chemistry department would be there. But let me tell you, he is a closer. It's a good thing he does not own an automobile business because there would be no cars on the lot. He'd sell them all.
I think from my experiences with him, what I hear from recruits, what I hear from players, is that how genuine and truthful he is. That speaks to people.
Genuine, truthful, and knowledgeable. Knowledgeable about that kid, whether this is a men's tennis player coming in, he does his homework, and he can talk about a lot of different subjects. And, of course, he talks so fast he can get a lot in. Yes, so whether he's bluffing or just talking, I believe everything Jimbo says.
Gary, I wanted to ask you this last week. So I see the way the A&M coaches in all sports are. I feel like you guys are close. And I don't know if it's that way in other schools, but Bird is involved, Coach G's involved. I feel like there's a good relationship between the athletic department.
I think there is. We have an all-staff meeting once a month. And that's not just for us. This is the secretaries, the administrative assistants, just the higher administration, and then we have motivational speakers. It's trying to get us all to believe in what we're doing here at Texas A&M. Too many times, I remember back in high school, when you go up to the teacher's lounge or something like that, everybody was complaining about something. What you've got to do is put the positive into Texas A&M. Put the positive into the people that you're working for. Everybody has a story to tell. You've just got to be quiet enough to be able to listen to their story instead of always doing the talking yourself.
Let's talk a little hoops if we can. The TCU game, a very disappointing start for you guys, score-wise, and I heard you mention some thoughts after the game of what you were unhappy with. Just let's kind of go back and work our way through.
Completely ready for TCU. And I think they were 4-3 at the time and had not played up to their level yet. They had one player that'll be possibly a WNBA draft choice or something like that. But what we've got to do is worry about ourselves. And the thing is, we were ready to play, but TCU executed. We ran our first play to Kayla Wells, and it was perfect. We just happened to miss the shot. That's okay. Mm-hmm. Get the rebound. Go down and get a stop. Not too many times you're going to hit your first 3 or 4 shots in a ball game. And then all of a sudden, their star player took over, got the other people involved, and we were not getting people involved. We were coming down and making one pass and a shot and a no rebound. Empty possessions. And then all of a sudden, we were not getting to the free throw line. They got hot. It was 14-0, but then I think we made a run to get right back into it, 17-10, and then it just happened. I think down 10 or 12 at half or something like that. In the second half, believe it or not, it got to 29. 29. In about a 4.5-minute period, we cut it to 8 with the ball and had a wide-open 3, missed the shot. It would have been one of the greatest comebacks ever that we didn't deserve because we didn't play that well. But at the same time, I'm happy for the Aggies. We didn't give up. We played to the end. I was rotating about 10 people in, trying to play offense, defense, try to force turnovers, which we forced 27. But at the same time, we were turning it over 17 times ourselves.
You mentioned on the coach's show accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the accountability to get out there and get a rebound, to make a stop? Well, when you talk accountability, what do you mean?
Well, first, before we go to accountability, let's talk responsibility. When I was watching film yesterday with my team, that back row is all coaches. That's on us. We are responsible. Our players have to not live up to their potential, but it's accountability for each possession, playing, not taking a play off, getting a rebound, setting a correct screen, being able to contest a shot, doing the little things. That's accountability. But it starts with that back row in the film room, responsibility. That's on us. We didn't get our job done. Their staff was very prepared. We learned a lot, but I guarantee you my staff feels that responsibility that we've got to give to our student athletes. We got to teach better, we got to demand more, and we've got to be able to coach them through the tough times, because every team is going to make a run. It doesn't matter if you're a 20-point favorite, 40-point favorite, it's a toss-up game. You're going to make a run. Now, how do you answer that? How do you get your kids motivated? And I've got to do a better job finding that way.
You mentioned that you guys are a good team right now, but that's all.
That's all.
How do you become a great team?
Consistency. Leadership is good when things are going right. And that's the way it is in life a lot of times. A lot of people like to be praised as long as things are going right. And you say, well, you can always sub somebody in if things are not going wrong. Sometimes you want those people to stay in the game that are not playing right because they've earned that time over the years. And all of a sudden they have to play their way through. A guy could go 0 for 10 with 8 strikeouts in baseball, but you're not necessarily going to bench that guy for the next week. He'll play through it. That's sports. And in basketball, if you're shooting 5 out of 10, you're probably an all-conference performer. So there's going to be misses, there's going to be makes, but there's so many stats that go unnoticed by the people in the stands. the screens, the diving on the floor for loose balls, the leadership, in the huddle right before free throw, making sure we've got the right play called or the right defense called. All those things come into play almost in every sport. And we're a good team. That is all right now. It's our job to make them better.
I'm looking at the similarities between you and the men's team, right? So both take on TCU, both have a poor first half, both have a very nice second half, get close but can't close it out, and both take on a former player. You guys took on Aaliyah. So many similarities.
Similarities, and TCU has always been a tough place to play, all the way from when I was at Arkansas all the way there. The record's good. We've won our last 8, but it hadn't been pretty. And Jackson played very well. She defended Jordan, was taking her right hand away. We were not running our stuff. We were doing too much ad-libbing on our own and wasn't staying into what we do. We're a half-court basketball team. That's our strength, is running our sets, getting rebounds. But when you're getting no rebounds and it's a first shot defense of TCU that was limiting us to probably 10 to 15% on makes, that's what's going to happen. You have to rebound the ball. And sometimes you cannot worry about their fast break going the other way until that possession is over. And we will get better on that. It hurt us at Texas on rebounding, and now it's hurt us at TCU.
What do you guys need to accomplish before conference play starts? What do you want to see?
I want to see a happy team again. I don't want to see the film room and they're recognizing their mistakes and they feel bad about it, but how could I have done it better? I want a happy team to see the positives. We always show the positives and the negatives every film session. And yesterday we usually start with the positives because generally we're winning. And then we put the correction tape on there. We did it in reverse. And the correction tape took a lot longer. Standing around, not energy, no stance. When you have no stance in baseball and you're just standing straight up, you never stand straight up.
Right.
So I'm not going to say it was just a bad game and a good game by TCU. Is accumulation of things that we've been doing wrong for 11 ball games. We've got to correct those in a hurry.
What's ahead for you guys?
Rice on Sunday, 2 o'clock. We've got Santa Claus. We got bike giveaways. We've got a little bit of everything. And then Monday, we turn right back around and play an afternoon matinee game for those people that have a day job. We want you to take a long lunch, 2 to 4. And then you don't have to go back to work. Coach Blair gave you the hall pass.
There you
but
go.
You've got to work until 1:30. Come over and see us, and we'll play UT San Antonio.
One of the great things I love about having you in studio is we can talk about anything. So, do you see the Urban Meyer news?
I saw the Urban Meyer news, and this is the way it is going on all over the country in every aspect. I saw the feature the other night on the Philip Naylor thing.
You're telling me to watch that, yeah.
And that, I think it was on Dateline or something on Friday night, and that's worse than Epstein, and that's worse than Weinstein. And it happened over in the Bahamas. 2 billionaires. And it's quite a story, and I'm sure we hadn't heard the end of it. But in America, we need to clean up our act. I'm talking about all Americans. There's so many good people out there that are doing things right. But it seems like all the headlines are the minority that are doing things wrong. And that goes in from coaches to players to holding out. You got a few NBA players that hadn't even signed with their team because they don't like their team right now. So they're going to hold out. They're going to force a trade. And unfortunately, they win.
They do win.
They win.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of it.
I'm sick of it too. I saw it last year with James Harden and the Rockets, just force his way to a championship caliber team, and it pains me that that's where we are in sports.
Well, we're in the me generation, but it's going on in the real world as well. Don't just blame it on us coaches and student athletes. It is in the real world, and it's up to us to find a solution.
What about your Dallas Cowboys?
That's the real world. We're starting to get healthier again, but every time you start to feel high about something, there's a negative. See where Tyrone Smith won't play. He's getting a little bit older, injured a lot. But I think Dak is ready to put a closing finish on this season. And hopefully he'll be able to lead. We'll get receivers back. And I give a lot of credit to Zeke, and because he's playing injured and hurt, but that's playing with a lot of pride. So hopefully we can go up and beat those New York Giants this weekend.
Are the Cowboys the one outside of A&M specific that gets your emotions going in the middle of a game? You'll say something, gets the good and the bad out of you?
Yes, the Cowboys, because it's so instant. When I watch the Rangers, you got to break in between innings to hit the refrigerator or to do something with paperwork or something. But the Cowboys is going so quick. And yes, I'm a huge fan of every sport. But Cowboys, that's number one.
Coach Blair, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. It is TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We have one final segment for the 9 o'clock hour. In the 10 o'clock hour, Billy Lucci's going to join us. So is Tap Bentz. We'll be back after these words.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Best wishes. Best wishes this holiday season. From the Zone family to yours.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
This is State Representative Kyle Cassell, wishing you all the timeless treasures that Christmas has to offer. May you be blessed with the warmth of your home, the love of your family, peace, and happiness.